So the NFL draft is basically here, and it got me thinking, who was the first player ever drafted into the league? Now what happens a lot of times when you ask these questions is it leads you down a rabbit hole, and the information you end up finding out is way more interesting than you ever thought it would be based on the original question that you asked. Now we're talking the first player ever drafted. Now when I look this up, I'm thinking, yo, dude must be a legend. And he kinda is, just not for the same reasons that I was thinking. Now today we live in a time where being an NFL draft buzz will cause you to be a punchline for years to come. And a bust is defined as a highly touted or highly selected draftee who does not meet expectations. Now according to that definition, the first player in the draft ever would have to be considered one of the biggest busts ever also, but it's just for the oddest reason. Look, let me just tell you the story. So the NFL draft has changed a ton since it first began. I'm actually thinking of doing a video to show just how much it's changed, but don't let me get sidetracked. Let's keep moving. The NFL draft began in 1936. It was held at the Ritz-Carlton in Philadelphia. Teams didn't have scouting departments. There was no media coverage. It was just pretty much a free-for-all. First time, bunch of old dudes in a room picking names off a chalkboard. Now the Eagles had the first pick, and unlike some teams, they were actually prepared. They already knew which player they wanted, and they had been trying to get him to agree to contract terms before the draft even took place. Now, unfortunately for them, the contract negotiations had not gone too well up to that point, but they decided to draft a guy anyway. Now the player was named Jay Berwanger, and this dude was a GOAT, bro. In college he played for the Chicago Maroons, who actually were a part of the Big Ten at the time. He set a school record in the decathlon in 1936, and it stood till 2007. He also won a Heisman Trophy. Wait, there's more. So when the Maroons played Michigan, Jay actually bust up Michigan's center and left a permanent scar under his eye. You're like, okay, that's cool, but how is that a bigger deal than the other two things that you just named? The Decathlon, Heisman Trophy. Well, that particular Michigan center went on to be the 38th president of the United States, Gerald Ford. Like, those are some fire bragging rights, bro. You scarred up the president. Like, bruh, lower taxes or I'm gonna have to get you in the other eye. Then, after all that, he was the NFL's first ever draft pick. I mean, GOAT status. But then the craziest thing happens, right? So the Eagles select him and they're hoping that they can strike a deal, but they can't. My boy Jay wanted that guap, and he was holding out for $1,000 per game, which apparently was a big deal at the time. Like, I suit up, you give me a rack. The Eagles wouldn't, or maybe couldn't at the time, so they traded his negotiating rights to the Chicago Bears. So he gets to the Bears and they're a little bit more willing to spend money. After all, they've already traded away one of their starting tackles, Art Bus, for this pick. So if this dude doesn't sign, they walk away with nothing. Now Jay wanted a total of $15,000, and the Bears got close and offered him a final offer of $13,500, $1,500 short. So Jay just decided to hold out forever. Bro, this dude literally never signed. Like, he just never signed, bro. He literally held out forever. It's unbelievable. So Jay ends up never playing in the NFL. Now, he maintained his amateur status and was able to try out for the Summer Olympics in 1936, but he didn't even make the cut. He set a school record in college that stood till 2007, but he couldn't make the Olympics back in 1936. I don't know what was up with that. So what happened to Jay? Well, he ended up working at a rubber factory and being a part-time coach at his former college. Needless to say, he later expressed regret on not taking that deal. Yo, sometimes you just gotta get your foot in the door, bro. Hit him on the second one. Anyway, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Be sure to check out my other video I dropped today. If you're watching this after the upload date, be sure to check the playlist, man. We got tons of videos. Make sure you subscribe, make sure your notifications are on, and thank y'all for rocking with the channel. That's gonna do it for me though. I'ma holla at y'all next time. FlemLo Raps. Wow.